The wind howled through the Nuba mountains, carrying whispers of a forgotten legend, a tale of courage, sacrifice, and undying love for freedom. This was not just a story from history. This was the story of Princess Mandi, daughter of Sultan Ajabna, a fierce warrior who stood against the mighty British Empire. Her name would forever be etched in the hearts of her people, inspiring generations to rise up for what is right, no matter the odds. But how did this young princess become the beacon of hope for her people? Let's journey back to the beginning of a fight that shook an empire. From the moment Mandi was born, her destiny seemed intertwined with greatness. But no one could have imagined how far she would go, how fiercely she would fight, or the ultimate sacrifice she would make. Would a mother strap her infant daughter to her back, mount her horse, and go to war? Would a princess defy an empire? As we step into her world, we see that Mandi's path was not just shaped by her royal blood, but by the relentless spirit of a people fighting for their land, their honor, and their freedom. Mandi's early years were unlike those of other girls. Raised by her grandfather, Sultan Aroha, she was taught not the art of courtly life, but the art of war. From a young age, she rode horses, wielded weapons, and learned the strategies of combat alongside the warriors of the Neimanj tribe. Her grandfather instilled in her a love for the land and a fierce loyalty to their people. The Neimanj lived under the constant threat of invaders who seized their land, imposed harsh taxes, and kidnapped their people to sell as slaves. In this world, Mandi understood one thing: her people would never be truly free unless they fought back. The drums echoed across the village as the trumpets blared, announcing the wedding of Princess Mandi. The people rejoiced as they gathered to celebrate the union of their beloved warrior princess. But behind the smiles and festivities, there was an unsettling feeling. Her father, Sultan Ajabna, a powerful and defiant leader, knew the British colonizers were watching closely, waiting for a moment of weakness. Yet on this day, Mandi's wedding was a symbol of strength, a reminder that the Neimanj would not bow to any foreign power. Even as she stood adorned in her wedding gown, Mandi's mind was never far from the battlefield. This wasn't the end of her story, it was only the beginning. The Nuba mountains were no stranger to war. Over the years, the Neimanj had resisted various invaders, from the Turkish and Egyptian rulers to the Mahdists. But now, a new enemy had come, the British Empire, fresh from their victories over the Mahdist state, aimed to bring all of Sudan under their control. Taxes were imposed, and any form of rebellion was met with brutal force. Sultan Ajabna, Mandi's father, refused to bow. The British viewed him as a serious threat, and tensions escalated. They sent armies, but the Neimanj resisted fiercely, fighting not only for their lives but for their identity. By 1908, the British had grown desperate to crush the Neimanj's spirit. One of the fiercest battles took place in the Faus region, where the Neimanj warriors, led by Chief Dargol and backed by Mandi, fought tooth and nail to protect their land. Even though the British offered treaties and temporary peace deals, Mandi and her father saw through these tricks. They knew that true peace would come only when the British left Sudan for good. And so, the fight continued. It wasn't long before the British realized they weren't just fighting a tribe, they were up against a movement, a people united by love for their land, led by their fearless princess. Mandi's life took a dramatic turn when she gave birth to her daughter, but in the midst of joy came tragedy. British forces had surrounded her father's stronghold, cutting off supplies and water. News of her father's dire situation reached Mandi as she lay recovering from childbirth. Her family pleaded with her to stay behind and take care of her newborn daughter, to let the men fight this war. But Mandi's heart ached for her people, and she could not bear to sit idly by while they suffered. She wrapped her daughter tightly to her back, mounted her horse, and with her head held high, rode into the thick of the battle. The warriors were stunned when they saw her riding through the dust, a newborn on her back and fire in her eyes. Her arrival on the battlefield was nothing short of a miracle for the Niemang. Seeing their princess, who had just given birth, willing to fight alongside them, reinvigorated their spirits. The warriors gathered around her,